So here we are with episode 18 of the Apothecary Diaries, and according to the title, I would presume that we are going to see more of Lakan's backstory and how it connects over to Maomao. But we'll just have to see. If you guys like the video, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike it. I do have my full length up on Patreon and early access on the YouTube memberships. Other than that, let us get started. Right back at the moment. Is that the place you're looking for? It's right there. Go on. Yeah, I'm out of here. See you later. Finally got rid of this. Oh! I pulled it off with no apparent emotion. But you're feeling something? Damn, dude, just getting baby memories out here. Yeah, I'd stop crying too if I saw that. Jesus. What is that, just gruel? I was gonna say porridge, but like, I don't know. I got a vacation, that's why I'm here. Working. Of course. Uh-oh. Immediately runs on over. Gone. Oh, she's going to the annex. So that was last time. Yeah, so she did come here before about the annex. That customer. Meimei, that's the person who was talking about whether you were going to the annex or no. Operated shame. Oh. Syphilis. Oh. The way that she says, this curse and this woman. God, I just want to, like, cry just looking at her. The weirdo with the... Oh, Lakan. Lakan? Uh-oh. Damn, Granny's over here like, get Meimei out here. I guess Meimei is the one who plays, you know, the board games. Mm-hmm. Oh? Stupid woman. Oh? Kind of what we saw last time. Who else can? You're getting that offer again. Mm-hmm. Understandable. Get up, yeah. You can't say no. Uh-oh. What are these, waterproof bandages? Are you sure that's a freebie if she has to find you good customer? Wait, is that the drink that Lakan offered? She's just running away. Nope. Shared this with Suirei. Yeah, if he's a weirdo, why the fuck would you give it to her? You appear apathetic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can lead to missed opportunity. Oh. Got a wise old lady to tell you this. The pharmacy. Yeah. This place is great. Yeah, got a lot of medicine. Really want to sneak in. So excited. Oh. Oh, wait, haven't seen her in a while. Not Sweden, Suirei. A court lady shouldn't be doing this. Alright? What is she doing specifically? How do we know that he's actually a eunuch, huh? God, the Empress Dowager out here just chopping dicks off like... Oh, he's back. I don't want to hear that from a thief. You stole her out from under... Maomao? Well, on the... above the board anyways. Someone as high up as... What my daughter would think. Yeah, but I don't think Maomao's like, that's my dad. No, her actual dad. You know, her dad, you know? It's Lumen. No. Stay away from her! Ah! No thanks. Oh, wow. That scowl. I'll turn him down somehow. Wow, just a flash before she goes back to her no emotion face. Well, he's seen you right here. This is her place? Uh-oh. I just got a fucking sickle out here. Uh-oh. She's... Oh no, Maomao's stealing your shit. She says with dirt in her hand. I'm just allowed to plant whatever I want. Does she have to be? Are we getting a little bit of a menacing music? Oh my god. That's a cello, right? Damn, dude. Wow. Haunting. Alright, that's just the end of that. Well, you know, unfortunately, we've got the we had the implication last episode, and now Lakan just really comes in here just like, yeah, so anyways, you know, let me see my daughter. Meanwhile, the court is just like, no, sir, you cannot see your daughter. Get out of here. So, like, real question. Did Lakan do it before or after the syphilis? Because he talks about, like, ways to decrease the value of a courtesan, right? But then, and one of the ways is to impregnate them. And so that's what he decided to do. But, like, she slipped under his, she slipped under his finger, through his fingers, right? Because they're keeping her in the annex now. Yeah, so she slipped through his fingers, he couldn't get her. But now that he knows that he has a daughter. But again, I initially they kind of pulls you towards the fact that possibly he poisoned her or given her something, but that illness kind of came in already. It was like it was in incubation. So it was already there. It's just that people didn't really know about it, and they refused to give Lumen any specific information about it because they didn't trust the eunuch. Which, you know what? At some point, I don't know. I don't know about, like, the whole eunuch system in ancient China and whatnot. You know, maybe like our eunuchs are like dudes who have committed crimes or something, or like they're just really at that low status that, you know, the Chinese Empire is just like, yeah, we're not gonna let you pass on your genes to other people. Chop that dick off, you know. So then, so eunuchs are, you know, looked down upon, which now that I think about it, I guess that is kind of understandable because they're eunuchs. They can't pass on the genes, so, you know, what are they good for? But, like, at some point, whatever. This is just how the system is. I'm not gonna talk against it. But because Lumen was a eunuch, they're just like, can't fucking tell him about it. So Lumen could have solved this whole thing. Yet again, it's another case of, like, I'm just going to let this go until it gets like so bad that I can't solve this. I can't cure this anymore, which unfortunately still happens in the modern world. Oh, this illness that I've got, man, hopefully it'll pass within like a week or two, you know, and hopefully it doesn't lead me to like cancer or something, because goddamn, I can't afford it. But alright, I am going to write a couple of notes, and we will be right back to the center. Not me looking at what the heck syphilis is, because I didn't know what it is, but okay, it's an STD. Understandable. Okay. Wait a minute. Syphilis is an infection caused by bacteria. Most often it spreads through sexual contact. Okay. I had that stupid question of like, alright, did Lakan do it before or after the syphilis? Because I didn't understand what syphilis was. I just knew that it was a disease. But like, if he had syphilis... God, that's a double whammy right there. I'm looking at this tiny image of like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Oh, dude, the fact that it can affect internal organs and like it can involve the brain, which is why her memory's like everywhere and shit. And she, perhaps in the end, she lost her ability to speak. God, dude, that fucking... Cause like they said the Lumen could have done it if it was, I would presume, in like stage 1 or something, right? In its incubation, he could have saved, he could have cured her. God, there's been a lot of, I don't know, a lot of, twice is a lot, I guess, for what I hear. But man, just that solo cello is just so good, dude. I just want to hear more solo cellos. I think that's what that's what I feel. I want to hear more solo cellos. Violins are just overrated. Violas, though. The middle child. So again, this is a similar shot to the last time she went to the annex. It's just tired eyes. You're getting that offer again, so I assume it's It's Lumen offering? I'm saying that offer. Like Lumen offering to buy her? If I didn't have my job, I might have been sold off. It's a really good deal to be bought by someone of high status, especially if they're in the military. It's not a rabbit hole I want to delve into if it's what everyone knows is love, which is something that Maomao's never got since the conception, since her conception. That's an emotion I'm sure I left behind in the womb of the woman who birthed me. It was a birth not out of love. An interesting thought that Maomao's having that whole that whole inner monologue that she has, right? Oh, this thing that people know as love, I've never really had it. Or that's an emotion I'm sure I left behind in the womb of the woman who birthed me. This rabbit hole known as love, right? It's an emotion that she's left behind. But I thought that it was interesting that after she has that monologue, Meimei gets up and she's just like, let me scrub your back, right? I haven't done it in a long time. Maomao refuses it for a bit, but then the other two big sisters comes in to to encourage her to do it, you know, because she's not gonna come back in a very long time. And then we just have that scene where Maomao smiles, right, as Meimei is scrubbing her back and the other two sisters are there as well. Love is an emotion that she's left behind, but she's definitely still is filled with it. But the love that she is thinking is the romantic feeling, right? The romantic feeling of, I was gonna say the romantic feeling of what? You guys know what a romantic feeling is. Even though despite her not being born out of love and her mother literally trying to fucking murk her as a baby, so much so that she's out here getting fucking flashbacks as a goddamn baby. Y'all remember memories from when you're a baby that isn't traumatic? She feels like that emotion is just out of her reach, or it's been abandoned a long time ago, and yet here she is basically surrounded by love. It's not romantic love, but it's definitely familial love with her big sisters who care very much about her, with the granny who, you know, loves her in her own way. She would still sell her off, but that's just how the world works, I suppose. But, you know, granny is still very much caring for her. Whether in Maomao's head it could possibly come from the fact that, you know, of her mother's status and whatnot. Who knows? But she is surrounded by that, and she's got a father who, well, you know, an adopted father, but still it would literally way better than her real father, right? Her real father is not her dad. Her adoptive father is her dad. She was raised by this man who taught her all these things that she who taught her all these things that she is now absolutely enamored with, poison and medicine. And after that, even though she got kidnapped and sold and whatnot, she ended up in a place where people loved her, right? In the same palace with Gokuyo and her ladies in waiting, who were very nice to her. Maybe pities her a little bit too much because of, you know, the stories that they've made in their head, but they shower her out of love, and like out of everybody, out of all the ladies in waitings and all the other different palaces of the other concubines, Gokuyo was the one that treated her the best. And now, even though she's away from that and she's now as Jinshi's assistant, I was gonna say servant for a second there, but she's now Jinshi's assistant. She is technically still surrounded, maybe not by love, but still definitely a sort of care that people have for her, right? Especially Jinshi, who cares a lot about Maomao. So even though she's surrounded by it, she still kind of just puts everybody off. Right? It's just, again, even with like the simple of like, let me scrub your back, she's just like, no, don't do it. Could also be, you know, a teenager who doesn't want to do it. You know, doing teenage things and all of that. But that possibly, I don't know where the butt was going, actually. Okay, I'm looking at this picture again. I assume she lost her fingers. Alright. I don't wanna look at these pictures anymore. It makes me want to tear up. Maybe it's not that she lost a finger. It's really more like they just bandaged her 3 fingers together. I'm not keen on repeating my past mistakes. There's nothing I can do. You can count on one hand the number of people who can defy someone. On one hand, defy someone as high up as you. Okay, so he does know who I really am. I'm just concerned about what my daughter would think. Is that Lakan threatening Jinshi that, hey, if you don't give me my daughter, I'm going to tell her your position? That was like 2 shots, I think, 2 frames. I wish I could go frame by frame for this one. I'm gonna have to. Oh, there you go. I at least caught the one before they go into like the full frame of her face. Whew, that hatred, dude. That intense hatred for Lakan. Alright, so that was episode 18 of the Apothecary Diaries. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a fucking great episode, honestly. It's we got to learn more about Maomao's past, and we really get to see the reason why she puts up this apathetic front in the first place. And overall, just a sad fucking episode, alright? Like, well, I'm gonna have to go through this scene of Maomao's mom again, and like, just looking at her just makes me tear up, because like, it reminds me of the old home again, you know, the retirement home, when I got to see sick old people dying, withering day by day. And but it also like really hits on that fear that I have, which, you know, I feel like a lot of people have, but like I think about it sometimes, and it's like the fear of, you know, losing my parent, or especially having to go through this phase of like watching them wither away for like years upon years. And honestly, at some point, like, if you tell me that there isn't a cure, I'd probably be like, you know what, just put him out of their misery. Let's just get it over with. Why do they have to fucking suffer all of these fucking years for something that's never going to be cured? Obviously, I'm talking about my own mom. But, you know, for Maomao, perhaps there's that possibility that maybe she could get better. Then again, even if she did get better, the syphilis has already, I was gonna say rot her brain, already damaged her brain up to the point where she's having memory issues and she's just relapsing into other memories, it feels like, when she starts humming a song that she remembers, or when she just starts grabbing these rocks and like she's playing Go or something, right? Because that's the thing that her body remembers, so she's just kind of like doing it because she does, you know. It's like people who have Alzheimer's or dementia or something. Which also, that part with Maomao's mom really plays into that whole thing too. Like, that's one of the worst things that I would want for my parents, is for them to have to go through amnesia? No, not amnesia. No, Alzheimer's or dementia. That's just like awful things. And, you know, it's something that I would never wish upon my worst enemy. But alright, got 3 things to talk about: Maomao's mom, Lakan, and Suirei, all of which encompasses Maomao. So that's where my topic's going to go. In the beginning, when Maomao talks to Jinshi about the fact that you can lower a courtesan's value to 0 You zero the person's value by just impregnating her. And when she says this, she keeps on a unreadable face. But then when she turns around away from Jinchi, she's just thinking about like, all right, hopefully I kept a neutral face when I said that, right? I don't want to show emotion to this man. I don't want to show emotion, especially perhaps in this district or whatever. But overall, just the way that she has built herself, right? I do not want to show emotions. Perhaps emotion is a weakness and whatnot. But because of this talk, it leads her to have a dream of the past when she was a baby. And, you know, when you're a baby, you cry. That's the only thing that you... That's the only thing that you know what to do. You're just gonna cry until somebody solves the problem. But right here, we see tears dropping on the baby too. And we see tears in the mother's eyes as she's holding the knife and also the baby. Maomao is just over here like, oh shit! Here's the thing that like really gets to me in this memory. It's not the fact that, you know, the mother's holding a knife. Because if you are a baby, you wouldn't know what a fucking knife is, alright? You can hold a gun to a baby and the baby will just be like, ooh, what is this? You know, like they don't understand. It's like you holding a gun to a dog. Or a knife to a dog that's never been cut by sharp objects before. You know? They don't know that it's fucking danger. They might get like some sort of weird premonition in their instinct or something, perhaps. But in this moment, I would presume that it's not the knife that got Maomao to stop crying. It's the expression on her mother's face, right? Because moms, well, not moms, but you know, when a baby sees your face, they can easily read it. I don't know if you guys seen there was that experiment on babies, an experiment that unfortunately you cannot do because, you know, it's unethical and all that. Out here traumatizing babies for science. But it was an experiment where the mother would bring the baby in and she would like keep a neutral face the whole time. No smiling, no nothing. And so the baby sees their mom, but like their mom isn't smiling back at them. So they're just like, what the fuck is going on? You know, my mom, who usually smiles back, you know, coos me and all that. She's just staring at me without a smile in the world. So then, you know, those babies, they would get scared. They would start crying because who is this person? So it made me think about that experiment. Going back to this whole like babies, they don't know what the fuck the knife, what a fucking knife is. It can hurt them unless, you know, a knife has hit the baby before and the baby knows that that's a bad thing. But I would presume here in this part, she has not stabbed her baby yet. But it's the expression that she saw on her mom that like got her to stop crying. And then eventually, as she grows up with this memory, right, it gets scarier and scarier because she starts to realize the knife in the hand, right? And it's like, oh shit, oh, my mom was trying to fucking kill me back then. The next thing with Maomao is that she doesn't call her mom. In whatever the episode was when Maomao talked about her family, she said, I don't have a mom, but I have an adoptive family and I've got 3 big sisters. So she cut her mom out of like her family tree. And so here when she describes this woman, she calls her this courtesan, this woman, stupid woman, right? Calls her anything but her mom. And I mean, it's an understandable thing, right? That trauma that she's got. She knows that that's what I already talked about this with like the whole love thing, right? When she was in her internal monologue with her big sisters, she mentions that love was something that she didn't have when she was born because, again, the birth was not out of love. And especially for a courtesan, you know, Maomao has literally ruined her life. And this storyline isn't exactly new or anything, obviously, right? But it's also something that happens a lot in real life where women end up with unexpected pregnancy, and whether they're unable to get an abortion, whether women, they can't get that help that they need, and then they don't have like a family that would be able to take care of their kids, you know, in case they need to go to work and, you know, make money to live. And especially for, like, young women who get that unexpected pregnancy. And then they feel like their life is over because now they have to spend the next 10, 20 years raising this child and putting all their energy into this child and not into themselves, even though they feel like they have not lived out their life yet. They grow resentful towards these kids, especially towards, you know, the beginning of the baby, the baby, you know, and then, you know, infanticide and all that. Mothers, they get that feeling sometimes, you know, that they just want their child. and sometimes they go through with it, and sometimes they don't. And here in this case, Maomao's mom was trying to go through with it, but Maomao is still here, unfortunately. Also, in this same scene that I have here, Maomao is talking about how her mom, or this Kurisan lady, used to hatefully toss her out, right? Chased her out. Probably tell her, like, get the fuck out of here, I don't want to see you again. Which, again, right? It's the fact that I see you are the product of failure. You are the reason why I'm here in this bed in the first place. Since she doesn't have any other source to blame for, you know, to hate Maomao's mom, I mean, the closest person that she can put that on is Maomao herself, unfortunately, right? It's not Maomao's fault. It's the fault of whoever the person is that gave you syphilis, and then it's the fault of the man who impregnated you. So, like, you should have hatred for those people who caused this downfall. But since they are not near her anymore, the only person who's near who has any sort of connection to that is Maomao. And it's, you know, unfortunately, Maomao just gets the brunt of the force. So we had a little backstory on the Vedigris House, and she said that even though it's super big now, right, with the three top Kurisans in their house and whatnot, it used to operate in shame for 10 years ago. It used to operate in shame. And because of that, Maomao's mom, who was during that era, she had to sell her body because that's just the law of courtesan. She could not, she could not say no. This is a part of her job, and unfortunately, because she had to do that, which goes back to, like, the last episode, right? When Maomao was talking about how women are split off by whether they're beautiful or not, they're attractive or not, or whatever, and the women who are beautiful, they get the highest education, and for the most part, they play chess, or not chess, but, like, Go and all those, like, board games with people. They entertain them with music, but a good amount of them would keep their virginity intact because it will give them a higher value, and some of them won't even give that up until they're finally sold or bought or whatever, and because their value could, like, get cut in half if they were to bed with another man. And so she was talking about that, and so I was thinking about that Maomao's mom possibly is the, you know, on the beautiful side, and so she's the one who got, Lakan has said she's very intelligent, and he could never beat her in Go or that other game that I currently can't, Chinese chess, but, you know, he was enamored with this woman who was very intelligent and looked down upon him like he was trash or something. Perhaps that was a little bit before the shameful era kicked in. Who knows? But that got Maomao's mom to actually give up her body for other people. And then she caught syphilis from one of them. I jokingly said if it was Lakan, dude, the double whammy. But it could be somebody else, you know? And not to say that Lakan doesn't have syphilis now. Like, maybe he could just get, he probably could have just cured it, because consider that he's in a very high position, right? And they've got, like, all these medical people on deck. He could probably just get that easily fixed. But maybe he had it at some point. But again, we'll figure that out when it comes. You know, it could just be some totally random dude who just happened to have an STD or an STI. Anyways, Maomao's mom caught syphilis during the shameful era, and this syphilis could have been cured by Lumen, but unfortunately, the house did not trust a eunuch who just appeared out of nowhere, popped out of nowhere. And as I was talking about eunuchs, right, their positions are like very low because they don't have a dick. Hey, yo, it's like the... Alright, I don't know how I'm managing to bring up the Manyu clan again. But it's like that, you know? Except in the Manyu clan, it's titties. But here, it's the dick. Yeah, you get that chopped off, you're worthless. You can't spread your seed. Worthless, bro. So, this eunuch came out of nowhere. Don't fucking trust him. Calls himself an apothecary. I don't know, he's probably just gonna give me some bonkers medicine and, you know, my cousins are going to die. And so, they didn't trust him. They didn't tell him about that. And so, Maomao's mom ends up having late-stage syphilis, which now damages her internal organs, including her brain. And as I was talking about, right, she's got memory problems. Also, I thought it was an interesting thought that the granny who operates Vedigris House, she was there during the shameful era as well. And so it kind of gives backstory to why she's so money hungry, right? Because she's been in this timeline where they weren't great. So now that they are like at the top of their game, she is trying to get as much money as possible. And as what Meimei says, right, Granny's just trying to get enough money to go to heaven. So I thought that was an interesting one too, to see why Granny is the way that she is. An interesting thought with Maomao when she was watching her mom take out these rocks and, you know, in forms of like playing the whatever board game that she's remembering, and Maomao's just looking at her and thinking, "Stupid woman," which is just kind of like, damn dog, like, you know, sorry life dealt her a bad hand, and also, you know, sorry that all these things happened to you because of this bad hand that your mom got dealt. I don't know where that sentence was going. But yeah, the way she's just like, stupid woman. At the same time, from the way that Maomao does everything here in this place, in the end kind of showcases a little bit of pity. Just a little bit, you know? A little bit of pity. She's just expressing that through a much more aggressive phrase. And I say that simply because of the way she sees her mom compared to her dad. Because when Jinshi tells Maomao, hey, this guy, this weird guy, Lakan, he wants to meet you. And immediately he just gets a fucking jump scare of Maomao scowling at him, right? And an immense scowl. It's so scowlful, in fact, so glaring. In fact, man had to take a step back. He was just like, whoa! I've never seen that expression before, nor do I want to see it again. Maomao, who's been trying her best to stay apathetic, who's been trying her best to stay emotionally neutral, even when we had like episode 8 or something, 7, when she was telling, or 9, when she was telling Jinshi about what she expects in her death, right? Or at least if she were to die, she would hope that it was Jinshi who is able to overlook her death and that he would be able to give her poison, you know, the thing that she will always, that she fucking loves, to die by something that she loves. It's poetic, right? But like when she's talking about death like that, she's very straight-faced, very detached from the world. But here, mentioned Lakan, and immediately it just, her mask cracks for just a second, and she's just glaring at him like, you better not. The difference in emotions for her, I keep wanting to say her dad, but like I don't want to, for Lakan. Again, he may be blood related, but he's not her dad. But the difference between her reaction to Lakan compared to Maomao's, to her mom, very different. And it's the fact that she continues to hide from Lakan. She does not want to talk to him. And Lakan is just over here continuously trying to. I'll talk about him a little bit, but she refuses to see him. And when Jinshi asks, she's just like, don't. And yet, when it comes to her mom, she's willing to take the medicine, right, to where she is, to go and visit her in the annex and, you know, put down the medicine, and she's the one who gives the medicine to her mom. And she even does all these other things, which, you know, she does to everybody, but to do it for a person that you're willing to separate yourself from them, right? Separate the fact that they are your mom, and you just call them the courtesan, this woman, this lady. She still is, she's still opening up the window, airing things out, getting some incense in there. From what it looks like, she was ready to clean her, or clean the area around her, right? To make sure that she's living in a cleanly cleansing area. So she's still doing all of that for her mom. And she could just not. Because, like, from the look of it, it's just the medicine. All it really needs to do is just go down her mouth. You know, like, that's really all there is to be done. She could literally just ask somebody else to do it for her if she does not want to see her mom. And yet she continues to do it. She even does it to the point where she knows that her mom would usually chase her out with hatred. But she still comes back anyways. There's just that one thing, that something inside of Maomao. It might not be love, it could be pity, because what a pitiful woman, you know? What a stupid woman. That keeps her coming back. And even when she came back to the Vedigris house before, you know, she got bought by Jinchi and all that, when she came there with Lihaku, there you go, Meimei was the person who was just like, hey, you gonna go to the annex? And then it seems like Maomao did go to the annex to go see her, despite her being like, this woman, I have no mother. There's just still that sense that she's taking care of her mother. Oh, God. The fucking family talk shit out here gave me all emotional. But I believe that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about for Maomao's mom. So let's just get a little bit into Lakan. So Lakan's been coming to Jinchi ever since he found out that Jinchi has taken Maomao away from him. And here in this case, Lakan straight out tells Jinchi that you're a thief. You stole her from me. I spent a whole decade trying to convince the old lady, and you took her from me from under my nose. You know, so like, what do you want? How much money do you want? I will pay it back to you. And he goes and he says, I will not make the same mistake. I will not repeat the mistake that I've made before. And I would presume the mistake is, you know, letting Maomao's mom slip away from his fingers. And so now he wants Maomao. And it's like, I would rather not think that he wants her for, you know, sexual means, because that's his daughter, it's blood related, you know, let's not. But he certainly wants her, but perhaps he wants her in his family tree. You know, because the last time we heard about him and his family is that he has no kids. And he has his cousin, or not his cousin, his nephew. He adopted his nephew, and now his nephew is taking care of the family stuff. Perhaps he wants her to be a part of that, to take care of the whole family business. I mean, honestly, if he tries to take her and core her off with his nephew, that'd be even... Oh my god. Oh, you know what? I guess it could kind of be like a pure blood thing. In the scene with Lakan saying, yo, I'm gonna pay the amount that you want for me to get my daughter back. And Jinchi says, what if I refuse? And so Lakan's just like, well, I can't do anything. There's only a handful amount of people who can do anything to you because of how high of a position that you, how high you are, how high of a status that you've got, you know? And so that's Lakan saying that to Jinchi, like, I know who you are. You're trying to operate in secret, but I know exactly who you are. I mean, he's a strategist, so of course he does. But he goes and he says, I wonder how my daughter would think about that. And it's, again, I would presume that's him doing a bit of a threat saying, hey, you've been hiding your secret identity to my daughter this whole time, so, like, what if I tell her about it? How is she going to feel? And this goes to the a previous scene when Maomao was talking with Suirei, where she tells Maomao that she shouldn't segment people off by their status, right? Since life can happen at any time. Life can turn and twist you, and, you know, a person that you initially thought was a noble might not be a noble anymore. A person who you thought might just be a commoner might end up, you know, going up a higher status. You shouldn't simply just segregate them like that. And from what Suirei says, separating everything based only on status can lead to missed opportunities. And even before that, Suirei says, you may appear apathetic, but you have a keen sense on your place in this world. And then Maomao's just like, yeah, I'm just a lowly person. It's a miracle that I managed to work here, and whatever. And you know, Suirei is just trying to give her this chance to just, maybe you should look at these people as individuals instead of just putting them immediately on, like, this person's a higher tier than me, so I'm going to watch my word and never really tell them my feelings. And that's just how she's been with how she's been with Jinchi. So the idea that Lakan will tell Maomao about his true position, right, that gap in between them would get even wider if Maomao is the way that she is, and she's just like, oh shit, this guy who I thought was just, you know, he's my employer and all that, but now he's not just my employer, he's this dude who is probably close to the emperor. That's pretty fucking wild, yeah? Holy shit. So, like, she, again, that gap even wider, and that's definitely not what Jinchi wants. Whether Lakan knows that for sure or not, like, if he knows that's how Maomao is, I don't know. But all I can say is that hopefully Maomao takes Suiden's words to heart, so then eventually when the bomb gets dropped, you know, she'll just be like, yeah, I guess Jinchi is, you know, this super high position guy and all that, but he's still an idiot, you know? Somewhere around there, you know? The final part of this discussion is Suirei, who is just one letter off from Suirei. But here's Suirei, who we have not seen since the beginning of this season. Or not this season, but the part 2, I mean. But she was the person that Maomao picked up scent that I had initially think about, like, are much more, you know, on the masculine side. And that comes from the fact that she works near the military, right, where there's just a bunch of dudes and whatnot, but also it seems like she works on this unofficial garden, and perhaps that's where Maomao picks up all these other scent as well, right, because she's gardening and all that, and she's planting herbs and flowers. And we had this dude who I'm just gonna say is like a pharmacist for now, who's, you know, all blushy towards her, and they complete this whole spiel, and then after Suirei leaves, he sighs and he's just like, a court lady shouldn't have to do this. And it's just like, okay, why shouldn't she have to do this? You know, she's coming here for medicine, but, like, what is she doing specifically with said medicine that this guy is just like, she shouldn't be doing this, she's a court lady, this is not her job, or whatever. Maomao and Suirei meet again at this hill where she's planting, at the unofficial garden where she's planting her herbs and all that. It's unofficial. The doctor comes here often, and Suirei has permission to plant here, which is just like, okay, like, who gave you permission here, and why? It's an interesting thought, but, you know, Mao's not gonna question that, probably. And if she does, she'll just be like, not my issue. But here in this part, Suirei mentions about how she wants to make a medicine, or she knows of a medicine that can revive dead people. I believe, hold on. What are you planting? A medicine to resurrect someone. Okay, and then Maomao gets excited. She hears that, to resurrect someone. Whoa, like, is that a medicine that can bring the dead back to life? If such a thing exists, I want it more than anything. Yeah, and then she's just like, just kidding, I'm just joking, bro. But then she asks, I heard you're an apothecary, how good are you? Maomao's just like, oh. a little while from now on, I'll be planting some morning glories here. After that, we've got this like, we've got this like haunting music that's playing in the background during the scene. It's just so good, right? And then like the way that the cello is to like the single plops of the piano keys. But like as the music goes on, and then she's just like, goodbye. I'm planting some morning glories here, which, you know, that could be some sort of message if I know what the heck morning glories are. Meaning of morning glory flower. Morning glory symbolizes affection, love, and the beauty of dawn. They are also often associated with a renewed sense of hope and a fresh start. Okay, we'll just have to see how these morning glories go. Yeah, we got to see a little bit more of Suirei. Suirei. So that's nice. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more of her as well. And that will be nice to see, you know, what she's doing at the military stuff. And, you know, why she's so interested in herbs. You know, she seems interested in Maomao. Although, you know, she shows a little disdain, according to Maomao. But she's just like, you're an apothecary, right? Perhaps she might need her for something later on. But the interesting aspect is the fact that Maomao hears that there is a medicine that can resurrect the dead, or resurrect people. A medicine to resurrect someone. And so, a medicine that can bring the dead back to life, if such a thing exists. I want it more than anything. Now I'm just over here thinking, like, who's Maomao talking about specifically that she wants to resurrect? Right? A dead person. Who specifically? Is it a person that we don't know yet? Perhaps. But then I couldn't, the only reason why I'm not pointing it towards her mother, it's because, well, her mom's not dead. I mean, technically, she might as well be dead. But she's not, like, dead on record, you know? So, that's why I was kind of putting it off of, like, it being Maomao's mom. Who knows, you know? Maybe it's a medicine that could put a pep in her step. Either way, I think her mom is kind of, it's kind of gone at this point. It's unfortunate. Dude, if they fucking show me a scene of Maomao's mom getting, like, some sort of memory back, albeit if her mom gets, like, some sort of memory back and thinking about Maomao, it's probably just gonna be filled with hatred. But, like, if she gets, like, just a glimpse of, like, herself back, and then she finally tells Maomao that she, I don't know, loves her or something, I'm gonna fucking cry my eyes out. So hopefully we don't get that. We do see in the spoiler of an opening that there is somebody who gets himself out of the casket, so I don't know who this person is, you know? Then again, Maomao's mom is on the deathbed, so she could die at any moment. So maybe Maomao's just like, yo, necromancy is like good shit right here. But that's, I believe that's all I wanted to talk about for right now. Again, fucking great episode. I really enjoyed that. When it comes to this anime, sometimes I feel like I have to. Maybe not you. It feels like I have to get through a few episodes where it's just like, again, it's like, some of the stuff is like mystery of the week. This thing happens. It's just almost feels a little slice of life like, which I don't particularly enjoy as much when it comes to the reaction format. But if I have to get, but like when I get through that, we get like really fucking good episodes, like episodes that just pops and really hits me right in my feels. That's currently how I feel about this anime. But if I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next episode.